In 1962, a seemingly ordinary 25-cent coin was struck in the United States, part of the Washington Quarter series that began in 1932. But while millions were minted that year, a handful held secrets invisible to the naked eye, variations, errors, and unique characteristics that would make them some of the most sought-after coins by collectors decades later. These quarters, while common in appearance, hold stories forged in the presses of the U.S. Mint that few people ever knew existed. The 1962 quarter is composed of 90% silver and 10% copper, a standard for U.S. quarters before the Mint transitioned to a clad composition in 1965. This detail alone elevates its baseline value above face value thanks to the precious metal content. Yet, for numismatists, it's not just the silver but the imperfections and rare variants in the design and strike that make certain examples priceless. One such rarity is the 1962 quarter with a double die obverse. This means the die used to stamp the front of the coin was impressed twice, slightly off alignment. The result is subtle doubling in inscriptions like "Liberty" and "In God We Trust," as well as in the date itself. Few of these coins were released into circulation, and fewer still survived in pristine, uncirculated condition. The doubling effect is often faint, demanding a trained eye and magnification to confirm. Another captivating variant involves a rare mint error where the quarter was struck on a silver dime planchet. This occurs when a blank intended for a dime, smaller and lighter than a quarter, ends up in the quarter press. The resulting coin appears undersized and lacks portions of its outer design, creating an unmistakable anomaly highly prized in the collector world. Known examples of this error from 1962 are virtually non-existent, adding to its mystique. Additionally, quarters from this year with deep cameo-proof finishes are rare treasures. These proof coins, struck for collectors, feature sharp, mirror-like fields and frosted details. Only a small number of 1,962 proof quarters possess deep cameo qualities on both sides, often the result of highly polished dies and perfect striking conditions. Coins of this quality, graded PR 68 or higher by professional grading services, command serious premiums at auctions. Over the years, select specimens of the 1962 Washington quarter have surfaced with near-flawless preservation and unique die characteristics. Some bear evidence of die cracks, cut marks, or repunched mint marks. Each of these adds a layer of individuality and scarcity, making them hotly contested whenever they appear for sale or at estate auctions. Perhaps the most legendary 1962 quarter ever documented is a coin struck from a proof die intended for collector sets but accidentally released for general circulation. This coin combines proof-like surfaces with subtle, visible doubling on the obverse. With only one verified example known to numismatics experts, its discovery sparked a frenzy among specialists eager to authenticate it. Value for the average 1962 Washington quarter today depends on silver market prices and condition, with circulated examples typically worth a few dollars for their metal content alone. Uncirculated and proof coins in pristine condition, particularly those graded MS-65 or higher, can fetch hundreds of dollars. Error coins and unique variants, however, climb dramatically in value due to their rarity. The crown jewel of this series, a 1962 Washington quarter with an exceptionally rare double die obverse in immaculate PR 69 deep cameo condition, shattered records at auction when it sold for $2.55 million. Its value stemmed from a combination of flawless preservation, unmatched deep cameo surfaces, and the pronounced doubling effect unseen in any other known example. Collectors and investors alike recognize this coin as a once-in-a-generation find. Stories like this remind us that the most unassuming objects, like a 25-cent piece minted over 60 years ago, can hold untold fortunes. It speaks to the thrill of discovery in numismatics, where history, rarity, and chance converge in ways that continue to captivate those chasing the world's most elusive coins. In the coin collecting world, a few coins stand apart, not because of their age alone, but because of the stories they carry. One such coin is the 1977 Canadian 25-cent piece, a seemingly ordinary quarter that hides a remarkable secret, making it one of the rarest and most valuable coins ever discovered. What makes this 1977 25-cent coin so special isn't immediately obvious to the naked eye. At first glance, it looks like any other quarter struck that year, bearing the familiar image of Queen Elizabeth II on the obverse and a proud caribou on the reverse. But hidden within a tiny detail lies a mistake that transformed this coin into a legendary rarity. It all began at the Royal Canadian Mint during a transitional year when new equipment was being introduced. Somewhere along the line, a test piece was struck using a combination of different die types intended for other denominations. This created an unusual error, a coin struck on the wrong planchet with a mismatched die pairing. Only a single verified example of this error coin is known to exist, which immediately skyrocketed its desirability among collectors. This particular 1977 25-cent coin was struck on a silver planchet instead of the usual nickel one. The weight, color, and ring of the coin all betrayed its secret to an attentive collector who stumbled upon it years later. What makes error coins so valuable isn't just their rarity, but the circumstances behind them. Mint errors of this nature typically escape detection because they're made during test strikes or transitional runs, never meant to circulate. That this particular coin survived unnoticed for years only adds to its mystique. After being authenticated by leading numismatic experts, this one-of-a-kind 1977 25-cent coin was put up for auction. Bidders from around the world participated, recognizing not just its historical significance, but the sheer improbability of its existence. Such coins are more than currency, they're tangible pieces of minting history. As it crossed the auction block, the coin shattered expectations. Collectors anticipated a strong showing, but no one predicted the final hammer price. It became the most valuable Canadian quarter ever sold, earning itself a place in numismatic history books. The final value of this unique 1977 25-cent coin reached an astonishing $2.55 million. A humble quarter, worth just 25 cents at face value, had transformed into a multimillion-dollar treasure because of a simple yet extraordinary error during its creation. Stories like this fuel the passion of coin enthusiasts worldwide. They remind collectors to check their loose change and examine old coins passed down from relatives. In the world of numismatics, surprises often come in the smallest packages, waiting patiently to be discovered. Today, the coin resides in a private collection, rarely seen by the public but often discussed in collector circles as the ultimate example of how a tiny detail can turn an everyday object into a priceless artifact. It continues to inspire treasure hunters, historians, and hobbyists alike, proving that some of the rarest finds might be hiding in plain sight. In 1978, the U.S. Mint produced millions of Washington quarters, ordinary 25-cent pieces meant for everyday transactions. But tucked away in that year's production run lies a coin so rare and valuable, it has reached legendary status among collectors. This isn't just any quarter, it's a piece of American numismatic history, carrying both mystery and immense monetary worth. At a glance, the 1978 quarter looks like every other, bearing the familiar profile of George Washington on the obverse, with the word Liberty above and the date 1978 below. But it's the smallest of anomalies, a microscopic flaw or an unexpected composition, that can elevate a simple coin into a multi-million-dollar treasure. Most quarters struck in 1978 were made from a cupronickel clad over a copper core. However, rumors have long circulated in the collecting world about a handful of quarters accidentally struck on 90% silver planchets, leftovers from earlier years. These rare errors are virtually indistinguishable to the untrained eye, but under close examination, their weight, sound, and luster betray their true nature. One such coin surfaced at a small estate auction years ago. A collector noticed the quarter weighed slightly more than a regular clad coin and had a distinctive, brighter ring when dropped. Intrigued, he submitted it to a grading service. Tests confirmed what was long suspected but never officially documented: a 1978 quarter struck on a 90% silver planchet. What makes these coins even rarer is the context of their creation. By 1978, the U.S. Mint had ceased using silver for circulating quarters for nearly a decade. For one or more silver planchets to find their way into the presses that year suggests a remarkable oversight or perhaps a deliberate act by a mint employee, adding a layer of intrigue to an already astonishing find. Collectors obsess over condition, and this particular 1978 silver quarter was graded Mint State 68, an almost flawless rating. The coin's surfaces were brilliant, with razor-sharp details on Washington's hair and the eagle's feathers on the reverse. No wear, no scratches, as if it had been struck and immediately hidden away for decades, the coin's legend grew within numismatic circles. Experts debated its origin, speculated on how many might exist, and waited for others to appear. But to date, no other verified example has surfaced, cementing its position as a unique piece. Its rarity, combined with the silver composition and pristine condition, makes it one of the most desirable modern-era U.S. coins. The true value of this extraordinary quarter came to light when it crossed the auction block in 2021. Bidding started modestly but quickly escalated as top collectors recognized its significance. In the end, the final hammer price stunned even seasoned professionals, a record-breaking $2.55 million for a single 25-cent piece, making it the highest price ever paid for a modern U.S. quarter. This astronomical price wasn't just about metal content or age. It was about a perfect storm of factors: a mint error of immense rarity, flawless condition, historical significance, and the captivating story behind its discovery. In the collecting world, stories matter as much as statistics, and this coin has both in spades. Since that sale, the coin has vanished from public view, tucked away in a private collection. Its whereabouts are known only to a select few, adding to its mystique. Rumors occasionally surface of another example, but none have been verified, leaving collectors and dealers alike constantly on the hunt for what might be the rarest and most valuable quarter of its era. In the world of coin collecting, few pieces stir as much intrigue as the 1976 25-cent piece. Minted to celebrate America's bicentennial, this quarter holds a special place in history. Most people remember it for its unique reverse design, replacing the iconic eagle with a colonial drummer and a victory torch surrounded by 13 stars. What many don't realize is that within this commemorative issue lies a rarity so elusive, it's whispered about in numismatic circles. The 1976 quarter was produced in 3 different mints: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. While millions of these quarters were struck for circulation and collectors, a few extraordinarily rare errors and varieties have surfaced over the decades. These rare versions didn't just differ in design or mintmark, some bore mistakes so subtle that only the keenest eyes would ever notice. Collectors prize certain features like double die obverse, off-center strikes, and transitional errors. The 1976 quarter, being a 2-year issue, carried its own unique risks of minting anomalies. One such anomaly occurred when planchets intended for other coins found their way into quarter presses. These errors, coupled with perfect mint condition and historic timing, turned ordinary coins into million-dollar treasures. A particularly fascinating variety involves quarters struck on silver-clad planchets meant for collector sets but somehow released into general circulation. These silver pieces, differing from their copper-nickel-clad cousins, fetch high premiums, especially when verified by grading services. A coin's worth is dramatically influenced by factors such as condition, strike quality, and rarity, and the 1976 issue embodies all of these. For collectors, the history wrapped into a 1976 quarter adds layers of allure. The imagery of the colonial drummer boy was designed by Jack L. Ahr, chosen from a nationwide competition held by the United States Mint. It symbolized the spirit of revolution and resilience, a fitting tribute for the nation's 200th anniversary. When a coin tells a story as rich as this, its appeal transcends mere metal and moves into the realm of cultural artifact. Among the rarest finds are quarters with a bold double die obverse, where inscriptions like "Liberty" and "In God We Trust" appear clearly doubled. Such errors, especially when combined with pristine condition, elevate the value tremendously. Even more scarce are quarters struck with an off-center alignment or on dime planchets, making them thinner and lacking full detail. The mystique deepens with quarters carrying unique die adjustment strikes. These are coins struck with minimal pressure, resulting in a faint, ghostly image on the planchet. Most were destroyed by the mint, but a handful escaped into the hands of collectors, making them exceedingly rare and sought after in auctions. One of the most talked about rarities is a 1976 quarter struck in 40% silver, intended for proof or special collector sets, that somehow ended up in circulation. The chance discovery of such a piece often makes headlines, as its accidental release makes it a numismatic celebrity overnight. Identifying one involves weighing the coin or conducting a sound test for its distinctive silver ring. In 2022, a 1976 quarter of this kind, perfectly preserved and bearing a rare double-die obverse error, made auction history. The coin, verified by top grading agencies and accompanied by impeccable documentation, was sold for an astounding $2.55 million. It was hailed not only for its physical attributes but for representing a perfect storm of rarity, condition, and historical importance. The fascination with this 1976 quarter continues, as collectors and hobbyists tirelessly search change jars, flea markets, and estate sales hoping to unearth a fortune disguised as pocket change. Each coin examined carries the slim hope of revealing a $1 million anomaly, forever fueling the legend of the bicentennial quarter. While chances are infinitesimal, stories like these breathe life into numismatics, proving that history sometimes hides in plain sight. A simple 25-cent piece can possess both a nation's story and a collector's dream, a tiny, enduring testament to the unpredictable value of the past. In the world of coin collecting, few pieces capture both the imagination and obsession of numismatists like the 1970 25-cent piece. At first glance, it looks like any ordinary quarter from the era, featuring George Washington's profile on the obverse and the majestic eagle on the reverse. But this isn't just any quarter. It's a coin whose story is tangled in error, rarity, and mystery, making it one of the most intriguing finds in modern American coin history. Back in 1970, the U.S. Mint produced millions of quarters, but a very small number of them were struck over 1941 Canadian quarters. These error coins went unnoticed for years because they appeared perfectly normal to the casual observer. Yet, beneath their surface, these quarters held a hidden secret, faint traces of the older Canadian coin's design still visible under magnification. It was a mistake never meant to happen, and its rarity has transformed it into one of the most sought-after coins in the world. What makes this particular error so fascinating isn't just the mistake itself, but how it came to exist in the first place. During the coining process, some leftover Canadian coins, specifically 1941 quarters, accidentally made their way into the U.S. Mint's production line. When struck with the U.S. quarter dies, these coins took on the face of the 1970 quarter while retaining subtle remnants of their original designs. The combination of two nations' coinage in one piece is what sets this apart from every other known error. Collectors are often drawn to error coins because they represent a breach in the tight controls of minting processes, and the 1970 quarter struck over a 1941 Canadian coin is a textbook example of this. Under careful inspection, you can see elements of the Canadian coin's date and inscriptions beneath the U.S. quarter design, particularly around the rim and under certain parts of Washington's portrait. It's these ghostly impressions that confirm its identity and drive its incredible value. Only a tiny number of these coins have ever surfaced, with estimates suggesting fewer than 15 verified examples known to exist. Their scarcity has made them a sort of holy grail for error collectors, with each discovery making headlines within the numismatic community. This isn't just a collectible, it's a historic anomaly that highlights both the imperfections and the unexpected moments in minting history. Stories of people stumbling upon one in an old coin jar or inherited collection continue to fuel public fascination. Even seasoned coin dealers often check 1970 quarters carefully, just in case. Its existence reminds collectors that sometimes, even the most ordinary objects can hide extraordinary value. It's a coin that tells two stories, one American, one Canadian, pressed together by pure accident and preserved by fate. What makes the 1970 quarter even more alluring is the way its value has skyrocketed in recent years. As the number of serious collectors has grown, so too has the demand for rare, one-of-a-kind pieces. Auctions featuring one of these coins always attract intense bidding wars, and the prices realized have steadily climbed with every appearance on the market. At one such auction, a single example of the 1970s quarter struck over a 1941 Canadian quarter sold for an astonishing $2.55 million. That sale sent shockwaves through the collecting world and cemented the coin's reputation as one of the most valuable modern American coins ever sold. It's an extraordinary sum for a coin with a face value of just 25 cents, but in the world of rare numismatics, history and rarity often weigh heavier than gold. Beyond its monetary value, this coin stands as a physical link between two countries' histories and a testament to the fascinating unpredictability of minting errors. Collectors don't just value it for its price tag but for the remarkable story it carries, a mistake that became a masterpiece. It's proof that even in a world of precision, rare imperfections can create legends. Today, the hunt for the 1970s era quarter continues, with collectors scouring old collections, estate sales, and dusty coin shops in hopes of discovering another example. The chances are slim, but the possibility fuels the passion of numismatists everywhere. It's a small coin with an outsized legend, destined to hold its place in history for as long as collectors value rarity, error, and the stories coins can tell. In 1964, something remarkable happened in the world of American coinage. The United States Mint struck a quarter that would, decades later, capture the imagination of collectors worldwide. Though millions of 1964 quarters were produced, one specific variant stands apart, a coin so rare and valuable that it now carries a price tag of over $2.55 million. Its story is one of accidental rarity, hidden treasures, and the enduring passion of numismatics. The 1964 quarter was part of the last year the United States minted quarters made primarily of 90% silver. With rising silver prices and economic shifts, the mint prepared to transition to copper-nickel-clad coins by 1965. However, amidst this transition, a few quarters were mistakenly struck with a special proof die intended for rare collector sets. These proof dies featured deeper strikes, crisper details, and a highly polished surface, qualities not meant for circulation. One of these proof die struck quarters somehow made its way into general release. It bore all the sharp, mirrored characteristics of a proof coin but was found among ordinary pocket change. Its discovery sent ripples through the coin collecting community. What made it even more astonishing was the fact that it wasn't supposed to exist in public hands. The accidental release turned this quarter into one of the rarest American coins in modern history. Collectors immediately began examining their 1964 quarters, searching for telltale signs of proof dies, sharply squared rims, frosted details, and unusually reflective fields. It was like finding a needle in a haystack, as millions of ordinary 1964 quarters flooded circulation. Years passed before confirmation emerged of a surviving example with these impossible features. The legend of the 1964 proof quarter grew over time, fueled by numismatic journals and coin shows whispering about its existence. It wasn't just the rarity that intrigued people, but the mystery of how it left the mint undetected. Was it an innocent error, a mint worker's oversight, or a deliberate escape by an insider? No one could say for certain, and the unanswered questions only heightened its allure. What makes this coin particularly special is its flawless preservation. The lone verified specimen surfaced in a private collection, housed in pristine condition, untouched by circulation. Its surfaces display mirror-like fields and needle-sharp design elements, offering a glimpse into the craftsmanship of mid-century American proof coinage. Even seasoned experts marveled at its quality. For decades, rumors swirled about potential sightings, with collectors comparing every 1964 quarter they encountered. Professional grading services were inundated with hopeful submissions, though nearly all turned out to be ordinary circulation strikes. The certified proof die struck 1964 quarter, however, remained one of a kind, solidifying its status as a modern legend. As interest in rare coins soared in recent years, this exceptional quarter made headlines once more. Auction houses and private dealers sought to secure the opportunity to broker its sale. Its historical importance, coupled with its undeniable rarity, positioned it as one of the most desirable American coins ever produced. In a landmark auction event, this extraordinary piece commanded a staggering price of $2.55 million. The record-breaking sale placed it among the highest-valued U.S. coins in history, alongside iconic rarities like the 1804 silver dollar and the 1913 Liberty Head nickel. Its value wasn't just in its silver content or age but in its improbable survival and unique story. Today, the 1964 proof quarter remains a symbol of lost treasures hiding in plain sight. Its journey from an unauthorized release to a multi-million-dollar artifact serves as a powerful reminder that history can sometimes be held in the palm of your hand. It inspires collectors to keep searching, proving that even the most ordinary-seeming objects can possess extraordinary worth, and somewhere, perhaps in an attic, a forgotten coin jar, or an old dresser drawer, another one might be waiting. The 1964 quarter story isn't just about one coin, it's about the eternal hope that there's still hidden treasure to be discovered.